Number 10. The remote control. It's 1955, and you're sitting on your couch staring at your TV. You're comfortable, maybe have a drink in your hand, and then the commercial break hits. Now you're faced with a choice. Stay comfy and suffer through the ads, or make the dreaded journey across the room to change the channel. Engineer Eugene Pauly decided this was basically torture, so he invented the Flashmatic, the world's first wireless TV remote. It was basically a fancy flashlight that would shoot a beam of light at sensors in each corner of the TV. Each sensor did something different, turn the TV on or off, or change channels. The Flashmatic had one tiny problem. If sunlight hit the TV just right, it would go absolutely bonkers. People would come home to find their TV had changed channels 50 times because a sunbeam decided to play DJ. So Zenith engineers came up with the Space Command remote. This one used ultrasonic sounds. Little hammers would hit aluminum rods inside the remote, making sounds too high for humans to hear, but dogs could hear them. So every time someone changed the channel, dogs across America would lose their minds. It was like a secret torture device for every pet in the country, but people loved it so much they didn't care. They were willing to drive their dogs crazy just to avoid getting up during I Love Lucy. The modern infrared remote finally came along and saved our four-legged friends from this audio nightmare. Number 9. Spelling and grammar checkers. Your phone automatically fixes your drunk texts at 3 a.m. That all started because some programmers were tired of looking stupid in their emails. Back in the 1970s, Ralph Gorin at Stanford was getting roasted for his typos one too many times. He created one of the first popular spell checkers, called Spell. It was basically a digital dictionary that would say, "Hey dummy, that's not how you spell that." Early spell checkers were so basic, they'd let you write complete nonsense as long as each word was spelled correctly. Microsoft Word's grammar checker came along in the 1990s, and suddenly everyone became an instant English professor. They'll catch your there mistakes, but completely miss when you write, "I like to eat children," instead of, "I like to teach children." The real irony is that some studies show people who rely heavily on spell checkers may actually become worse at spelling over time. We might be actively making ourselves dumber because we're too lazy to remember how words work. Some companies now use AI grammar checkers that are so advanced, they'll rewrite your entire email to sound more professional. You could write, "Yo boss, where's my money at?" and it comes out as, "Dear sir, I am inquiring about the status of my compensation." From inventing writing to inventing ways to avoid writing. The ultimate lazy solution. Number 8. K-Cups. It's 1992. John Sylvan is working at a tech company. He's tired of the awful office coffee that's been sitting in the pot all day, but he's also too lazy to make a fresh pot every time he wants coffee. He starts tinkering, trying to find a way to make single cups of coffee without any effort. He tested makeshift pods on himself so much that he actually gave himself caffeine poisoning. He was so committed to being lazy, he ended up in the hospital. His laziness paid off. Those experiments eventually became Keurig K-Cups. The story has a twist, though. John sold his stake in the company for just $50,000 because he was tired of the whole thing. The company later sold for $14 billion. Today, there are so many K-Cups produced each year that if you lined them up end to end, they would circle the Earth more than 10 times. And since these little pods aren't easily biodegradable, they'll be around longer than most civilizations. Future archaeologists will probably dig them up and think we worshipped tiny plastic cups. Number 7. Cruise control. Your car can drive itself at a steady speed on the highway. That feature exists because a blind man got tired of his driver's lead foot. Back in 1945, Ralph Teeter was riding in a car with his lawyer, and the guy kept speeding up and slowing down every time he talked. It was driving Teeter crazy. Now, being blind, Teeter was extra sensitive to these speed changes. It was making him car sick, and he thought there's gotta be a better way than relying on humans to keep steady speed. Teeter wasn't just any blind guy complaining about bad driving, he was a brilliant mechanical engineer who lost his sight in a shop accident when he was 5. So instead of just getting queasy in the back seat, he decided to invent something. He called it the Speedostat, basically the grandfather of modern cruise control. He built this whole system without ever being able to see it. He did all his engineering by touch, feeling every part, and doing complex math in his head. Teeter's invention hit the market in 1958, and Chrysler branded it as autopilot, because nothing says trust me like naming your car feature after something that flies planes. It turned out that cruise control actually made driving safer and more fuel efficient. Next time you're cruising down the highway with your foot off the gas, thank a blind guy who got tired of getting carsick. Number 6. Drive-thrus. The drive-thru was pioneered by a few early restaurants, but it was perfected by chains like Jack in the Box in 1951. They built their whole restaurant concept around a giant two-way intercom system, topped with a clown head. You'd pull up and speak your order into this massive clown face. That's some nightmare fuel right there. McDonald's didn't hop on the drive-thru train until 1975. They thought people actually enjoyed getting out of their cars and walking inside. Clearly, they didn't understand just how lazy we could be. Drive-thrus weren't even supposed to be the main way people got their food. They were just an option. But today, about 70% of fast food sales come through the drive-thru window. We've gotten so lazy that what was supposed to be Plan B has become Plan A. And it's not just food anymore. We've got drive-thru banks, drive-thru wedding chapels in Vegas, and even drive through funeral homes, because apparently, even saying goodbye to loved ones was too much effort for some people. Number 5. Copy and paste. In the 1970s, computer scientist Larry Tesler was watching people at Xerox retyping the same text over and over again like some kind of torture victim. He saw secretaries spending hours retyping paragraphs because their fancy word processor couldn't just move text around. Larry, being the kind of guy who'd rather take a nap than do extra work, thought this was ridiculous. He believed computers should adapt to how humans work, not the other way around. So he created the simple commands we know today as copy, cut, and paste. Apple's Steve Jobs famously saw this technology during a tour of Xerox and knew it had to be part of the future of personal computers. And thank goodness he did. Without it, you'd have to retype everything in a school paper. You'd have to manually type every email address. You'd have to enter that long Wi-Fi password character by character. The best part is Larry hated having to remember complex computer commands. His philosophy was all about simplicity, which is why the shortcuts that followed became so easy to use. He could have made it something ridiculous like Alt plus Shift plus F7 plus page up while hopping on one foot. Instead, he championed simplicity because he was too lazy to remember complicated commands. Number 4. The dishwasher. Josephine Cochran was a rich socialite in 1886. She loved throwing fancy dinner parties, but there was one problem. Her servants kept chipping her expensive china while washing dishes. Most people would just roll up their sleeves and start scrubbing, but not Josephine. She famously said, "If nobody else is going to invent a dishwashing machine, I'll do it myself." This woman was way too fancy to ruin her manicure with dishwater. She headed to her shed and started tinkering with wire racks and a copper boiler. Her neighbors probably thought she'd lost her mind. Here's this wealthy woman, building what looks like a torture device for plates in her backyard. She designed a machine with compartments for different types of dishes. A motor would spin them while hot soapy water sprayed from the bottom. Basically, she created a jacuzzi for dirty plates. She wasn't even an engineer. She'd never built anything in her life. She just really didn't want to wash dishes or have her servants break them. Her invention was such a hit that hotels and restaurants started ordering them. She even won an award at the 1893 World's Fair. Not bad for someone whose main motivation was avoiding chores. Number 3. The robotic vacuum. It's the 90s, and an engineer is looking at his vacuum cleaner, collecting dust in the corner unused. He thinks, what if it just did it itself? He created a robot disc that bumps around your house like a drunk roommate, eating dust and occasionally your phone charger. The first models were expensive pets that needed constant attention. They get stuck under furniture and fall downstairs. But this lazy solution worked so well that now there's an army of these little robots in homes worldwide. Modern robot vacuums can map your house, dodge obstacles, and even empty themselves. It's like having a tiny maid that never complains about working overtime, except when it gets trapped under your couch and beeps sadly until you rescue it. Then there's the infamous poopocalypse incidents, where a robot vacuum encounters pet waste and turns your home into a modern art installation. But we keep buying them, because pushing a vacuum cleaner is still worse than occasionally rescuing a robot from eating your curtains. Number 2. The pop-up toaster. Back in 1919, people were tired of babysitting their bread. Making toast meant standing there like a guard, watching your bread over an open flame. One wrong move, and your breakfast becomes a charred brick that could probably stop a bullet. Charles Strite had enough of eating burnt toast at his factory's cafeteria. His big innovation wasn't just making an electric toaster. Those already existed. His genius was adding a timer and a spring-loaded platform that would eject your bread when it was done. It's the only kitchen appliance that throws your food at you when it's finished. We got so lazy we needed a machine to yeet our breakfast at us. The first pop-up toasters were considered luxury items. People were paying premium prices for a machine that shoots their bread at them. Today we take it for granted, but imagine trying to explain this to someone from the 1800s. Yeah, we have this metal box that shoots hot bread into the air when it's ready. No more burnt toast, no more standing around watching bread, just the mini heart attack of your breakfast suddenly launching itself into the air every morning. Number 1. Wheeled luggage. Imagine it's 1969 and you're rushing through an airport with your heavy suitcase. Your arms feel like they're about to fall off, and nobody, absolutely nobody, has thought to put wheels on luggage yet. For thousands of years, humans invented amazing things. We split the atom, went to space, and created computers, but somehow we missed the obvious solution of putting wheels on bags. Then comes Bernard Sato, watching airport porters use a wheeled skid to move luggage. He's thinking, why am I carrying this bag like a caveman when wheels exist? So he goes home, takes some wheels from a wardrobe, and attaches them to a suitcase. Now, you'd think everyone would jump at this idea right away. Nope. Macy's initially rejected it. The reason that became famous was the belief that no man would ever use wheeled luggage. They thought it wasn't manly enough to roll your bag instead of carrying it. Apparently, real men had to suffer through airports with dislocated shoulders. It's like saying real men don't use elevators. They climb up buildings with their bare hands. But eventually, someone at Macy's came to their senses. They tried it out, and surprise, people actually liked not having to lug heavy bags around. The real game changer came in 1987, when Northwest Airlines pilot Robert Plath created the rollaboard. That's the upright suitcase with 2 wheels and a retractable handle that we all use today.